All right, well, it's time for the double main events of the evening. After we've already seen almost 3 hours on the pay per view, and from what you said, apparently another hour of shenanigans beforehand of all this chaos. Now the main events come up where you're supposed to see all the chaos. But don't worry, there's plenty more chaos. The four-way for the AEW World Title was Sammy and Darby and Jungle Jack and MJF. And I thought the entrances did show everyone's personality, didn't they? Jungle Boy moped down the ramp like he didn't give a shit. I mean, seriously, he could be arrested for mopery in Memphis. He just wandered into the goddamn ring and waved. And then Sammy and his girl Ty Mello Conti come out and announce in the entrance of their match that with their poster boards that she's pregnant. Who gives a shit? She's the one that turned him heel in the first place because she has that incredible heat-getting bitch face. And now they're supposed to be a happy couple having a blessed event. She'll turn him heel again in 2 weeks if she hangs around him. People need to forget she's around if he's going to be a babyface.
Well, they'll have 9 months to forget about it now.
Well, hopefully, unless he keeps reminding us on the poster board. And then the Darby video. It comes up on a screen. They're in a Vegas wedding chapel with an Elvis impersonating preacher. And a guy in an MJF mask is going to get married, but where's the bride? Well, here comes Darby. Did I say Darby or
You said Darby?
Darby. Here comes Darby Allin. And I was thinking of Elvis and Darby. And he beats up the guy in the MJF mask and then tells Elvis that he's got to help him dispose of the body. And off they drag the body. And then Darby makes his entrance in the arena. And I wrote at this point, I don't want to see this match anymore after this. It's fucking silliness and stupidity and childishness and lackadaisical not give a fuckery amongst the three people that are supposed to be going for the world title. And then MJF's entrance was an extended instrumental music cut of his music with the somber, I don't know what all those instruments are. You've got a background in music. Are they oboes or violins or whatever the fuck they are? Fiddles.
You have a background in music. Are they oboes or violins?
Maybe it's the mandolins or whatever. But anyway,
perhaps the bassoon.
The bassoon came in and he descended on the throne in his outfit and his devil mask, and then down the entranceway with women in costumes and devil masks bowing and reaching for him like Dracula's daughters. That was cool. At least somebody looks halfway serious about putting on a Vegas show. It didn't make him look like a fucking nerd. It didn't make him look like an idiot or like he didn't give a shit. It made him look like he wants everybody to think that he's the fucking king shit, which you should, because he's the fucking heel. And so it was kind of cool and Vegas-y, and the other three were goofy and or boring. And this was the match where I said the analogy I had at the top of the review here. This looked like a 90s indie, maybe a Dennis Coralluzzo show, when an ex-WWF star that everybody knew who the fuck he was, and he was in shape, and he had professional gear, and he had a tan, and he knew how to carry himself, he would work a local show with three indie guys who would look and work like indie guys. And that's what this looked like. And they've got three baby faces and one heel, but the fans are cheering the heel because the people like MJF because at least he's over. And if they'd have got the other two out of the way and didn't have to clutter this thing up, Darby also did a wonderful fucking job and would have been over as well. But basically, the whole thing was MJF laying out, at least at the start, while the other three would flip and tumble and roll and do their gymnastics, and then MJF would come in and do one thing and bring the house down. And by the way, they had dropped confetti, which was already ready to go when Statlander beat Jane. So they've still left it laying around on the ring. These guys are doing all those dives with all that fucking confetti out there. It's like, goddamn, why didn't they throw marbles out there too? Make it really dangerous. So, as I said, Larry Moe and Curly would do a half a dozen dives, and every once in a while, MJF would get in and start to make it interesting, but then the other three would continue doing their fucking kids' indie match with all the cool moves and reversals that they've dreamed up, in their basement. But I did, every time that Darby was in there with MJF, it had oomph to it. And you could tell that, again, they missed an opportunity. Maybe they can get it back. But Darby and MJF together had oomph to it. And if it had time to develop, they could do something. But, again, and that's, I noticed Jim Ross was gone. And Tony was there. Where did fucking JR go for the main matches? Anyway, Darby and Jungle Jack disappeared, and then MJF offered Sammy money for his baby to lay down, and then gave the microphone to Sammy. This is during the match for the world title. And he gave the microphone to Sammy, and Sammy milked it and then said he'd lay down and take the money, and he laid down, and MJF went for the cover, and Sammy small packaged him for a 2 count. Again, this is during the match. They all four got submission holds on each other in the middle of this was the first MJF match that I ever remember seeing where I was thinking, how much longer is this going to go? And then everybody gave everybody a Canadian destroyer. And then they did some more big bumps, and Sammy did a Spanish fly on Darby off the top rope onto MJF and Jungle Boy on the floor. And I wrote, at least there's no furniture. And I skipped ahead for the first time ever in an MJF match. And all four of them were on their knees trading chops. And then all four of them stood there and fake stagger sold and allowed each other to hit each other. And then I wrote, nothing is happening. And then all three of them gave MJF big moves. And then threw him out to the floor and started trying to beat each other up again. And I fast forwarded a couple minutes. MJF got his diamond ring, but Darby hit him with a skateboard in front of the referee because it's no disqualification. And he gave MJF a coffin drop, but Jungle Boy saved MJF. Now Darby and Jungle Boy were wrestling each other, and the other two were gone completely. And I said, fuck this. I went to the finish. Darby Allin went to coffin drop Jungle Boy, but MJF took the title belt and dropped it on top of Jungle Boy, and Darby landed on Jungle Boy and the belt. And then MJF grabbed Darby in a headlock takeover and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Brian, again, I'm just a poor small-town bird lawyer. I didn't do all of the advanced calculus in college on force and dynamics and gravity and things and such of that nature. But with the bumps that Darby Allin, that we've seen him take over and over and over again, would it really incapacitate him if he came from 15 feet in the air and landed back first on a belt on top of a human being, or would it do more damage to the guy that he landed on that was underneath the belt?
That's a very good question.
But regardless, 30 minutes of this. 30 minutes.
I can't add too much. I'm not a fan of multi-man matches. This was 4 people. If you're into those matches, I could see you liking some of the spots. because they're the ones you would think they would do, the multiple man submissions and whatever it may be. MJF has to move past this onto something else. After that Jericho match, I'm now dreading the idea it'll be Adam Cole.
Certainly to God, it's going to be Darby because he fucked him. And the only reason that you would beat Darby in this match is if you were coming back with MJF and Darby in a single. Because otherwise you would have beat Jungle Boy, because who gives a fuck? If you're not going to switch the title, beat the guy that's at least used to you. Or you would have at least beat Sammy, because you couldn't bring Sammy and MJF back in a single match for the title on pay-per-view or in any kind of big situation. Darby, you can. So I'm holding out hope that we'll see a single match, which will be very good. But this wasn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish.
With Jungle Boy, I think, again, they should turn him heel. I think now's the time, and people will believe it. And with Sammy, came out in white. His wife's pregnant. Despite the fact they were heels, that's what this fan base is. She's pregnant, now they love them. Plus, they were presented as baby faces, just crazy young kids in love, trying to figure out their way around the business on that All Access show. So I think you could use that, too. You know that Sammy right now is working towards a young family. Someone could try to take him out between now and then, and you got something that people will care about.
The only way that I'll care about it is if they do one of those fucking Lifeline documentaries on it, Lifetime, Lifeline, whatever. And we find out that that Ty is the one who put a fucking hit out on him.
A hit? What?
Yeah. Ty arranges with a fucking hitman to put a hit out on fucking Sammy. And that way she can get the insurance. He takes out a big insurance policy because he's going to have a baby and start this big family, right? And then she finds out about the insurance policy and it takes out a hit on him. And the hitman shows up in the parking lot of a pay-per-view and fucking takes him out. And I'll get interested in that.
Well, you really are in a bad mood today.
Well, I'm about to get worse because it's time for Anarchy in the Arena.